Welcome to my channel. Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey case. Stephen Avery was born in 1962, in Manitowoc County, Wisconsin. His mother and father are Dolores and Alan Avery. He also has 3 siblings, Chuck, Earl, and Barb. The Avery family owned Avery's Auto Salvage. At the age of 18, Stephen was convicted of burglary, and served 10 months of a 2-year sentence at Manitowoc County Jail. Stephen would again be found guilty of animal cruelty in 1982, and again jailed until 1983. It was on July 24, 1982 that Stephen married Lori Mathieson, who was a single mother. They would go on to have more children together. It would be in July 1985 that Penny Biernston was brutally attacked, and sexually assaulted while she was out jogging on Lake Michigan Beach. For some reason, Stephen would be arrested for this crime, and she would go on to pick him out of a lineup. However, Stephen claimed he was about 40 miles away when the attack happened, and several eyewitnesses had also seen him at the time. But this didn't stop the police from charging him with the crime. He was found guilty and sentenced to 32 years in prison. He tried to appeal this sentence twice, but these were denied. Stephen, over the years, continued to maintain his innocence. The Wisconsin Innocence Project got involved in his case and used DNA testing to prove he was innocent. DNA testing wasn't available at the time of the attack on Penny. They found out that the DNA in this case belonged to Gregory Allen. Gregory Allen already had a history of violent behavior against women, but for some reason had never been questioned about this crime. Stephen Avery was finally released on September 11, 2003, after being found innocent of the attack. Sadly for Stephen, however, his wife had now divorced him. Stephen's wrongful conviction attracted widespread attention. He would go on to file a civil lawsuit against Manitowoc County, along with its former sheriff and district attorney. He would on track to be awarded $36 million in damages for all the years he had served in prison. He was finally getting his life back on track when in October 2005, Theresa Halbach went missing. Theresa was a photographer, and her last appointment of the day was to Stephen Avery's house, where she was to take photos of a minivan, belonging to Stephen's sister, which was going to be shown in Auto Trader for sale. According to Stephen, she took the photos and left shortly afterwards. A search for Theresa was started. In the search, her Toyota RAV4 was found partially concealed in the Avery's salvage yard. Police found bloodstains in the car, which they would match to Stephen's DNA. Investigators would go on to search Stephen's home, where they found the car's key, along with a burn bit, which contained bone fragments. They confirmed these as belonging to Theresa. Stephen was quickly arrested and charged with Theresa's murder. However, Stephen maintained his innocence in the crime, and believed he was being set up because of the pending lawsuit against the county. Also at the same time, Stephen's nephew, Brendan Dassey, was also arrested, as he had been with Stephen at the time. He would be charged also after confessing to the crime in an interrogation. He would later recant his confession, saying that the police had coerced him at the time of the interview. Brendan was said to have a low intelligence and went along with what the police were telling him at the time. However, Brendan would go on to be found guilty of Theresa's murder at his trial and sentenced to prison. Brendan was only 16 at the time he was found guilty. Stephen would stand trial in 2007, and on March 18, he would be found guilty of first-degree murder and illegal possession of a firearm, after it was also discovered that Theresa had also been shot. He was sentenced to life in prison, without the possibility of parole, with another 5 years for the weapons charge. With all this evidence against them, it did seem like Stephen and Brendan had committed this crime. The Innocence Project got involved in Brendan's case, and in December 2015, Brendan's attorney filed a writ of habeas corpus in federal court to have Brendan released in a retrial. Brendan's conviction would be overturned, but the U.S. Court of Appeals overturned this ruling, and Brendan remained incarcerated, pending the state's appeal of the decision. In this case, there are lots of legal proceedings going on with both Brendan and Stephen, which I won't go into as they are quite lengthy. It would be later on that Kathleen Zellner heard about the case of Stephen Avery and decided to get involved. Kathleen was well known for getting the innocent out of prison. She would go on to find lots of problems with the evidence which was presented at trial, and also found new evidence in the case. Kathleen would go on to discover a new witness in the case. Delivery driver Thomas Sowinski. He claimed to have seen Bobby Dassey, who was Brendan's brother, and another older man pushing the Toyota RAV4 onto the Avery's property in the early hours of November 5. Through all this, Stephen's family stood by him, and never gave up fighting for him. Sadly, it was the day before Stephen's 59th birthday, that his mother Dolores passed away, never getting to see her son get out of prison. Stephen also fears he will lose his father before being released. Brendan is still incarcerated as of 2022. As of 2022, Stephen is also still incarcerated, with Kathleen still fighting his case. It is unknown if Stephen or Brendan will ever be released for this crime, and the real culprit found for the murder. We must not forget that Theresa's family has had to endure years of going through this, and we hope that the real culprit is found and justice is served for Theresa. Whoever this may be. What we must not forget in this case, is that Theresa Halbach was the innocent woman who was brutally murdered and taken before her time. We hope she will get the justice she deserves. Our hearts go out to Theresa's family. May she never be forgotten. I will leave it up to you to decide who you think is guilty of the horrible murder. If you want to know more about this case, I would recommend the documentary Making a Murderer, which was released in 2016 on Netflix. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel to view other content.